welcome back. I hope you're all doing okay. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ellen and I talk about everything houseplant related. So this episode is going to be about desertscapes. Now I'm calling it desertscapes instead of succulent trays because it's going to be a mixture of succulents and cacti. And it's going to be basically designed to create a really beautiful centerpiece for a table or a nice display somewhere in your house. So before we get into the video today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to leave any comments or have any questions throughout this video, please do leave those in the comment section down below. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down at the end of the video, depending on how you found the content. So there's a few things that you'll need to start this plant project. First of all, you will need some sort of tray or dish. I've managed to pick up this lovely copper, I guess, tray that's on this lovely black stand here. I got this from my local garden centre and I just fell in love with it as soon as I saw it, and I knew that that's exactly what I was going to use. You will then need a mixture of cacti and succulents. I would go for different sizes, so you want something that's a bit bigger and taller, so that's going to be my cacti today. So that will probably sit towards the back here as a bit of a feature. Then things like, so these have got a bigger and a smaller one, so they'll be quite sweet to have sort of next to each other, maybe somewhere like this. I've then got this beautiful succulent here, which will probably sit around the middle section. Bear in mind this will all be at the same height because they will be coming out of their pots. Then there's this lovely little cacti here, which will probably sit somewhere around the middle or the front. I try to do these in uneven numbers because I think that it just sits a lot better. So you either, if you've got a smaller tray, you want to look at maybe doing threes, so 3 different types. If you've got a bigger tray, you want to look at doing 5 or 7, depending on how big your tray is. But you are going to fill in over the top of the soil with pebbles or some sort of decorative stones on top. So it doesn't matter if you have got a bit of space, it will look quite nice. And I thought that these sort of long dangly ones can sit to the side here. I'm not 100% sure what this type of succulent is towards the back here. It was actually a small cutting that got given to me, so if anyone does know what that's called, that would be great to know. And then I've just got this one strand of this lovely string of buttons, which is the same as my plant at the front here. This actually fell off and I've been rooting it for a little while, and I actually thought that it would just be really cute mixed in with these succulents here. Once again, you know, it's got very similar care to succulents, so it will do really well in this sort of tray. So anything that you're putting in here, you just want to make sure that it's got the same type of watering regime. So succulents and cacti both don't need a lot of water, they're quite happy to dry out in between. And just bear in mind when you are watering that a lot of the trays and dishes that you will use for this sort of thing don't have any holes in the bottom. So obviously this that I have today doesn't have any holes in. So I will just give it a light water every now and again and try not to overdo or over soak it. The soil mixture that we're going to use today is going to be nice and light and airy and sandy for that exact reason that, you know, this is what they live in their natural environment, so we want to try and mimic that as much as possible. So I'm just going to pop that over to the side there. So these are the decorative stones that I've got. So I've gone for a white colour because I thought it'd be a nice contrast against the copper, but it has actually got a few coppery and grey slash, you know, darker kind of stones running through there. So I think that's really nice and it's going to create a nice contrast with colours there. I'm not doing my own soil mixture for this because I don't use cacti enough. I don't repot cacti and succulents and things like that enough. Like, this is basically my collection for cacti and succulents. I don't collect a lot of them. So I just use a cacti and succulent potting mix. This is Westland's one, but you can also get them from many different brands. There's one that Miracle Grow, I think it is, do. Yeah, Miracle Grow, they do a really good one of these as well. I just couldn't get my hands on it, so I've gone for this one. So I'm just going to pour some of this into this little container here. And we can just have a little look at this and so this mixture here, I don't know if you can see this very well, but it's got some chunky bits in it. It's nice and sandy and gritty. It's not very squishy, like it falls apart, so that's really good. That's what we want for succulent mixtures. But what I am, so this is quite moist, which is quite good. So it means if you're putting plants into moist soil, then it can help the roots to sort of find their way and sort of feel a little bit more at home, especially if they've come from a dry pot. So I try and let my plants dry out before I unpot them or repot them. And yeah, make sure that the soil that you're putting them into is quite moist. That just helps the roots find their way towards water. It helps them settle in and also take hold, so that's really good. So I'm actually going to put quite a lot of perlite into this, because there's none in there at the moment, and I just quite like a nice perlite heavy mixture when it comes to succulents and cacti, because it just helps create a bit of space, a bit of air, and helps with drainage of that water, because you really don't want it to hold on to its water. So where this soil's moist that it's going into today, I probably won't water this after it's been done. I'm actually very much likely to not water this for at least a week or two. Right, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to bring the camera in closer so that you can really see what I'm doing, get rid of my face and let you see what I'm actually doing and constructing here for you instead. Right, so I'm just going to empty these out of the pot here just so that we can get this soil in. So I'm going to keep them roughly in the same positions that we had before, however that will probably change once you put them in. We'll rearrange them. So this is the soil mixture. As you can see, it is nice and sandy. It's got a lot of perlite in there. Yeah, that looks really great. So I'm just going to pour this. I might actually need a lot more than I've made up. Great, so I'm just going to pour some more in there then. So I have actually just noticed that there are also some little stones and things in the soil, which is really great. I don't know if you can see them. But yeah, so like that's the stone there. So there's a few sort of scattered through there, which is really great for the drainage of the soil. Right, so I'm just going to go up quite high because I want them to be sat up. I don't want them to be buried, because none of the cacti or succulents that I'm using today are very high. Perfect. So next I'm just going to start unpotting the plants here and setting them in. So I'm going to start with the big cacti, which I'm probably going to place towards the back here. So obviously I can just bury down here as much as possible. I want to make sure there's a little layer at the bottom there. Now, trying not to prick myself, I'm just going to do that there. So this is actually quite deep. I'm also just going to pick this up and just break away at some of this soil down here. Now, I am trying not to break any of the roots, but it's not going to be detrimental to the plant if I do. But the main purpose of what you are trying to do here is to not break the roots off, is to get rid of some of the soil. So just keep that in mind when you are doing this. I managed to keep a lot of roots on and everything at the bottom here. I would advise wearing gloves if you are going to do this, because it does hurt if you prick yourself. So yeah, obviously just be aware that if your cacti is too tall, then it obviously won't fit, because you won't be able to break away enough of the soil. So just make sure that whatever you do pick can actually fit in okay. So then I think, let's look at these here. Should be able to, these shouldn't be rooted in too far. So I should be able to just tease them out. They're in quite a barky mixture. There's one. That is a big, big root there. Lovely, so this one's looking really good. I'm just going to slowly start to place things and just see what I think works visually. So I think something like that there might look quite nice. And then if I pop out this succulent and do the same thing as I did with the cacti, just really break away some of that soil so that it can sit nicely on top. So I was going to put that succulent central, but I actually quite like the thought of it off centre here. These here are obviously going to grow hopefully quicker than some of the other bits, so that will sort of grow up. Now this one here isn't too spiky, which is good. So same here, this is super dry and actually quite compact, so it's going to be quite hard to break this away. Sure that is, that could work okay. I'm going to need some more soil in here at the end to just build up around it, because I've built up quite a lot around that cacti at the back now. I think I'm actually quite happy with that. I think it looks quite sweet. The only thing I might do is I might take one or two more of these off of my string of buttons here, and maybe just put a few more in this area just to bulk out. I feel like it needs to go up to about here, so just maybe 2 in here. With that sort of mixed in will just look really nice. But obviously I do need those to root, so that will come shortly. But that's okay, it's quite easy. It's going to be quite easy to add things to this, so if you do it and then you find that actually you wanted to add something else to it, you can still go ahead and finish it off and then just add them at a later date. So I think that's my plan. That looks really lovely. I've gone for a little bit of height here with these as well as this one. I'm hoping that as these grow they'll sort of slowly start to fall over the edge here a little bit. That sort of sits like that in the stand, so it'll sort of fall over the edge here a little bit, and yeah, I just think that looks really pretty. So I'm now just going to go ahead and put the stones on top. I actually might get my brush and we'll just give these a little bit of a brush up. So obviously this is not meant to be a brush for plants, but that's just sort of tends to be what I use it for. Just to get bits off. I don't even know where I got it from, to be honest, just sort of. But it's quite delicate, but it's got sort of hard enough bristles that it does get in there, so I quite like it. We are now just going to go ahead and put some stones on. So the best way to do this is just to get them a little bit at a time and then just really sprinkle them over the top, because you don't want any to sink into the soil. So you're best to start by filling in the larger spaces here. And then as you spread out those piles, this white's going to look so lovely against this green. A really lovely contrast in colour. so then it's just popping around and just checking any last little bits. So as you can see, a little bit of soil around the edge here. So it's just burying that soil down and making sure the stones are sitting on the top. But yeah, so there we go, guys. I'll do a nice close-up for you. But that is our desert scape. I hope you enjoyed doing this with me today, and I really hope you give it a go and enjoy sort of designing it and creating yourself a nice little feature. Once again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you've liked my video today. I will post houseplant projects once every month, and yeah, do keep an eye out for those the first Tuesday of every month. And hope you're all well, and see you soon. Bye.